even though Lear had this power of king, had this title of king, it still held no weight because of the fact that Cornwall had this piece of land. He had this power. So this power essentially is what's creating all of this.
I would like to play devil's advocate with you if I can. Would you say, taking your argument that power is the overall theme, mostly what you're saying, the anger comes from power and stuff like that, would you say that anger actually comes from the lack of power? Because in Act 1, Scene 4, while, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, Gartilla, the oldest daughter, Goneril, yes, she tries to take away Lear's power even more by questioning the behavior of his knights. He gets angry, and she also says that you're not worth it. You're worthless. She pretty much tells him that he's nothing, and he does not deserve to be fit. And his knights are actually disgracing the kingdom. And he gets angry, and he says that I hope that when your kids grow up, I'm paraphrasing, when you have kids and they grow up, I hope they stab you in the back like you stabbed me. I think that shows that because while he was losing his power, he gains his anger in replacement for that power. I believe that is why that is what is really going on. That the lack of power actually equals more anger or brings
that
anger.
Anger originally came from because he had the power before, so that's where it came from.
I had a similar idea to what Jesse is saying because Anaya touched on. She brought up how Cornwall, he was like angry and things like that, and Jesse brought up this point about a lack of power. In Cornwall, he is like just now. Well, he doesn't have power. He just has part of King Lear's like kingdom because of King Lear's daughter. So, in Act 2, Scene 2, when Kit and Oswald was like interacting with each other, he comes in and says, "Keep your peace upon your lives." He dies if he strikes again. So in that moment, he's trying to assert that he has the power to make a move where he can get any one of the men killed if they continue to like bicker or whatever they were doing. And later on in the scene, as Kent was having conversation with Cornwall, he didn't like the way Kent was responding to him. He got enraged because now he's trying to, okay, I have this land, I'm almost at the power of this kingdom. Why is this man talking to me in this way? I need to assert the power that I'm giving now. So that desire for more power is like anger pushes that desire for more power. I don't think that power should be like this.
Okay, so by power, do you mean like you have power in land or power in authority? Because you're talking about power as in like how much he owns, but are you talking about power and authority? Because like in that case, then his daughters, such as Reagan, has power by telling Oswald to like disrespect the king. So she's given the authority to like make King Lear angry. So like I guess a clarification of what type of power you're talking about.
Pause for a moment. What move did Jordan just make that really is going to allow us to proceed nicely, Chris?
She crystallized.
Crystallized.
She crystallized the key term of power because she didn't know. I mean, she wanted to clarify. Well, she wanted to get the key term clarified because she wanted to see the power. They were talking about power in terms of money, in terms of authority or land.
So can you re-ask your question, Jordan, so we like really hone in on this point because it's a fascinating question and one that we should answer before we move on if we're going to continue in this vein that Andrew has sent us down.
Okay, so basically what do we mean by power? Are you talking about power in terms of like land possession and control of the kingdom, or power in terms of authority and who can do what?
I interpret it as power in terms of authority because of, like, I actually wanted to support Andrew's stance in it, but I didn't think that, like, it made, like, power makes people angry. I thought it would make them more stubborn, like, with the growing age, and I could substantiate that with, in Act 1, Scene 1, when Goneril was talking to Reagan and said, you see how full of changes his age is, and, like, when she says that, it kind of, being that they're his daughters, they know, like, they've seen, like, how he was, at least for their entire lives. So to bring up that point amongst themselves, to see that as he's getting older and has this like power, he's getting stubborn with it because he banished the daughter who probably like actually loved him most, and so like I don't really think this is people being angry because, and like to go against Jesse's point, he's saying that the lack of power made people angry, but I'd also like to disagree with that as well because when what's his name, Edmund, he was in Edmund's soliloquy, he's talking about how if he shouldn't have it by right, he'll have it by wit. That's kind of like disputing your point because he wasn't angry, but rather like outsmarting the system because of where he is socially.
I think that when we want to define